So the opposition is clearly up in arms. Those with cases in the Supreme Court against the government ask, can they hope for justice or words to this effect? BJP has hit back with charges of opposition hitting out at Hindu festivals and being selective, giving instances where judges joined political parties soon after retirement or in an instance becoming a judge after being a member of parliament. But this brings us to our big questions of the day. Should Prime Minister Narendra Modi not have gone to the house of the Chief Justice of India for Ganeshotsav? Should the pictures not have been put out in public domain? Does this adversely impact the separation of the executive and the judiciary? Does the opposition display blatant double standards? Does this controversy actually lower the majesty of the judiciary for political gains? If attending then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's iftar was okay for then Chief Justice of India, why is Prime Minister Narendra Modi attending Ganeshotsav at Chief Justice Chandrachud's house wrong? Let's get straight to the point. Joining me on the show is Siddharth Yadav, representing the BJP. Rashid Kidwai is a political analyst, has been covering the Congress party for a very long time. Advocate Sujata Pandey joins us with a legal perspective. And Siddharth Yadav, I want to begin by asking you, sir, the executive and the judiciary are two independent pillars. The opposition says justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. And if executive and judiciary pray together, leaders like Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, Sanjay Raut says, can we hope to get justice in the Supreme Court?
Sir, if justice has to be seen to be done, if the Prime Minister of this country, the democratically elected Prime Minister of this country, and the constitutionally held position of the Chief Justice of India, if they are seen together, are we that weak of a democracy that such questions are going to be raised? And raised by whom? The people who have always kept silence on issues that they should have raised about, on issues that they must have spoken about. In the last 48 hours, two images have surfaced. One is definitely what you are showing on your screens. It is the image of our democratically elected Honorable Prime Minister with our Honorable Chief Justice of India. The another image is of the leader of opposition in closed doors, meeting someone on the foreign soil, someone who says that we are doing oppression in Kashmir, someone who visits POK on the state funding of Pakistan, on the state funding of ISI, someone who moves a bill in the Congress, in the US Congress, and opposes India. But that is not something that people should be discussing. That is not something that Sanjay Raut is speaking about. I think this is, it is high time that we need to speak out on the hypocrisy and we need to raise the bar of the democratic standards.
You're accusing the opposition of blatant hypocrisy. Let me take this to Rashid Kidwai. Rashid Kidwai, you heard Siddharth Yadav talk about not just Ilhan Omar, and I'll come to Ilhan Omar point in just a moment. But there is a viral picture of then Chief Justice of India with then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Sir, the BJP has raised this question. If meeting at an iftar at 7 Racecourse Road was okay, why are questions being raised for a puja at the Chief Justice's residence?
Gaurav, I think the entire, so to say, controversy or this heated exchange between government and opposition is uncalled for, is unwanted. It doesn't reflect well on our democracy. Basically, there is a huge trust deficit. While, my friend, Mr. Siddharth Yadav is questioning, the opposition's criticism of Prime Minister Narendra Modi attending, a puja organized by the Chief Justice of India. He is also saying, that look at what Rahul Gandhi is doing, as if he's compromising, so to say, India's, national security concerns, etc. I think this is where Rahul Gandhi may not have met. But fact of the matter is that you cannot accuse him of being sort of, having anti-national flavor or anti-national intent. So that is why I'm saying there is a complete trust deficit between government and, the ruling coalition and the India Alliance partners, and it reflects poorly because our democracy is not this. If two people are seen, as you rightly pointed out, that iftar or a puja, then it's not, there cannot be any, kind of accusation of some kind of quid pro quo. Well, the separation of power in the constitutional scheme of things are there. And that is where in the old time, Gaurav, you may recall, many people used to those who were part of judiciary, they used to maintain very low profile, though they were not seen or heard in public. But that's the issue of propriety. If somebody is going to iftar party, if somebody is, is inviting Prime Minister for a puja,
sir, I
then
completely take that point. Propriety, to be seen to be doing the right thing, but in those days when they were not seen to be doing it, it's not that they were not doing it. The parties were still happening. The meetings were still happening. So is this transparency? And are we saying that there shouldn't be so much transparency? Let me take this to Advocate Sujata Pandey also. Ma'am, were these optics very wrong? Do these pictures send out a very wrong message of separation of executive and judiciary not being there? Does it embarrass both sides?
Good evening, Gaurav. First of all, I don't really understand. I think it's very unfortunate that our political discourse has gone so low that we have started to cast aspersion on judiciary for everything and anything. How does a public meeting, that which is out in public where PM is doing puja and Justice has invited PM to his residence, can impact the functionality of the judiciary? Because in the past we have seen that the lawyers visit the judges, in their family functions, marriages, we go and meet each other. Does that mean that the cases are affected, or the judges compromise because of the personal relations that they share with the judge and the lawyer? No, it doesn't happen. So, I think we have started to believe that our institutions are fragile because of this narrative that's been run by the opposition. It's unfortunate. In my opinion, and I think the larger part of India believes that the institutions are rigid, they are deep-rooted, and they do not get compromised merely because of meeting. And secondly, Gaurav, I think we have to understand that the separation of power doesn't even come into picture, because we also have the fundamental right to practice our own faith and belief in religious system. So, we have instances.
There, Kapil Sibal raised a question. Even if a puja was organized, it's a private affair. Religion is a private affair. What was the need to put out those images in public domain? And Rashid Kidwai, should Prime Minister, one, not have gone, or two, should those images not have been put out in public domain, or three, does the opposition criticism smack of blatant double standards?
Well, I think when it is happening, when the conscience is clear, I don't see a reason why the pictures should not come, because they are, after all, it's a festival time, and if two high functionaries, constitutional functionaries are seen together, I don't see that. But I see trust deficit in the opposition that is reflecting. So there is an overt politicization. But Gaurav, I must emphasize, see, it takes two to tango. The fact of the matter is, we have seen many moons ago, and when Gujarat elections were going on, I think the year was 2002 or something. I mean, even there was a chief election commissioner, James Michael Lyngdoh. His name was mentioned, and
yes,
a kind of a twist was given, that as if he's James Michael Lyngdoh, then he may not be doing free and fair elections in Gujarat, and that had come from the then chief minister of Gujarat. So therefore, I am saying our polity is highly polarized, partisan, and that is unfortunate. To blame it to the opposition is unfair. What opposition is doing may look little odd or out of place, or lacking a sense of grace.
Okay.
But then this is also, there's a lot of action reaction business that goes on.
Fair enough. Siddharth Yadav, Kapil Sibal said that these pictures should not have been put out in public domain because it led to gossip. Religion is a private matter. Perhaps the pictures at best could have remained in private domain.
No, Gaurav, I feel that the pictures of Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Chief Justice of India sharing dais, coming together on various social events, are already out in open. All of us know those are the two top functionaries of the constitutional setup of our country. They have to meet at different occasions. They have met at various occasions in Delhi, in New Delhi, on conferences, at a lot of occasions. Problem today, I think, is definitely because of the Ganpati Puja that is happening. That is very hard for few people to swallow. But we can't, your panelist is saying that there's a trust deficit, and probably, it's happening because of that. But when things cross beyond a point of time, and when the lines are crossed, the trust deficit, it cannot be called as a trust deficit, because it's definitely a propaganda and agenda of the opposition that they can't just do away with. Now, all of us know that such things, such occasions, and such meetings have nothing to do with actual impact on how the functionaries function and the separation of power on any of the constitutional principle.
Yes.
But when the difference was, when the impact was, we have seen the cases of H.R. Khanna. We have seen the case of Behrul Islam, first a Rajya Sabha MP, then a High Court judge, then a Supreme Court judge. We have seen the case of Jagannath Mishra. First, you give a decision in favor, then you are made a Rajya Sabha member. So when we have actually seen, how Jayaprakash Narayan had written a letter to Indira Gandhi about the impartial, the actions of the judiciary and the actions of the government influencing the judiciary, those were the actual times when the separation of power was missing. Those were the actual times when the judiciary was being impacted. But bringing that today with, trying your agenda and propaganda, I think is most unfortunate for the Indian democracy.
Rashid Kidwai, you want to quickly respond to the specific charges being leveled about, Justice Behrul Islam, for instance, from a Congress party member of parliament to a judge delivering a verdict in favor of a particular leader and then returning to active politics. So from politics to judiciary, back to politics, sir.
So, Gaurav, I agree what my friend Siddharth is saying, but he cannot be quoting selectively. What is he saying about Justice Gogoi? What is he saying about Justice Ganguly? So you cannot. This is unfortunate. It should not happen.
Different.
But when it happens to a particular party, you think it's fine. If the other is doing, I'll tell you, there was a breach of so to say, propriety. So therefore, you may say that no, Mr. Gogoi, Justice Gogoi has not joined a kind of political establishment the way Behrul Islam had joined, or for that matter, you can give that same example about Justice Ganguly. But in political domain, this is very clear. Signaling is there.
Okay.
BJP has no qualms about inducting and making people chairman of National Human Rights Commission and various kind of commissions, etc. So if the judiciary is if you really respect judiciary and you want to keep them away from politics, don't give them such assignments. Don't make them governors.
Let me take this to Advocate Sujata Pandey. Advocate Pandey, does the opposition criticism open higher judiciary? One, to criticism. Two, does it actually send out a wrong message to lower judiciary, to high court judges, to lower court judges, that if the Chief Justice can meet the Prime Minister, they can meet Chief Ministers, they can meet officials, then that distinction, does that just go away, ma'am?
Gaurav, if you see the recent orders, even the CGI, we hear the question, little is being pointed to the CGI and his integrity and how he's close to a certain ideology, so as to say. But if you see the recent orders, be it the electoral bond or the other, which went supposedly against the narrative of the government, then this is the same opposition which hailed him as the hero of the democracy and the flag bearer of the entire constitution. This is the same opposition which when he reinstated the Rahul Gandhi back as an MP, they said that, oh, he's the one who's keeping the constitution alive and kicking. Yes. And now if he's doing a Ganpati Pujan, I think that is what is the crux of the problem. You wanted a legal opinion, but that is my personal opinion, Gaurav, that this is not about CGI, this is not about PM, this is about the assertion of the Hindu identity, which probably goes against their larger agenda.
Fair enough. That's a very important point you make. Let social graces remain. Let our polity not become so divisive that you're unable to even follow social graces.